Welcome back to Goodnight Lighthouse. I'm Miss Dorothy and I'm here to read you another story. And I'm here to read you a book about a book. A book about reading. Like Miss Dorothy reads to you, this is a book about that. But it's called I'm Not Reading. I'm not reading. Why does it say it's not reading? This is a book about reading and it says not reading. It looks like that little owl is having a little bit of a problem with all those little chicks. I wonder what's going on. Who's going to read? We need to get into this book and find out what's going on and why somebody is saying, I'm not reading. Are you ready to get inside this reading book with Miss Dorothy? Good. I need you to sit up and listen up because here we go. I'm Not Reading. Written by Jonathan Allen. Baby Owl sat down with Owly under a tree in the field by the farm. He had his favorite book with him. Sit quietly, Owly, said Baby Owl, and I will read to you. Baby Owl had just opened his book when along came Tiny Chick. You're reading a story, Baby Owl? Cried Tiny Chick. May I listen too? All right, said Baby Owl, but I'm not reading unless you sit quietly like Owly. Oh, I will, said Tiny Chick. So Tiny Chick wants to hear the story too. Before Baby Owly could begin, along came Tiny Chick's two brothers and two sisters. Baby Owl's reading a story, they cried, hooray! And they jumped onto Baby Owl's lap. Hold on a minute, protested Baby Owl. I'm not reading unless you all sit quietly like Owly and Tiny Chick. We will, said Tiny Chick's brothers and sisters. There are a lot of little chicks who want to hear Owly's story. Baby Owl had just reached around them to open the book when along came Tiny Chick's 7 cousins. 7! Baby Owl's reading a story, they cried. Hooray! And they all piled onto Baby Owl's lap. Uh-oh, that is way too many chicks to put on Owl's lap. Wait a minute, shouted Baby Owl. I'm not reading unless you all get off. Wah! He cried, but the chicks didn't hear him. They were too busy pushing and shoving. Oh no, they're on top of Baby Owl and Owly and the book. Just then along came Tiny Chick's school friends and their brothers and sisters and cousins. What are you all doing? They cried. Baby Owl's reading a story, shouted Tiny Chick. Really? Asked one of the chicks. Where is Baby Owl? I was just wondering the same thing. Where is Baby Owl? I'm here, said Baby Owl in a muffled voice. And I am not reading. I am being squashed. Help! Cries Baby Owl. Then along came Baby Owl's dad. Poor Baby Owl, he said, lifting him up gently. What on earth were you doing under there? I was reading to Owly. Then Tiny Chick came along, then his brothers and sisters and cousins, and then everybody else came too. And they all wanted me to read to them, and they all sat on my lap, and I got squashed. It's not fair, said Baby Owl. Oh, poor Baby Owl. Along came Tiny Chick's mom. Oh dear, she said. I think Tiny and his friends are all a little bit overexcited. They do so love being read to. Well, said Baby Owl's dad, perhaps Baby Owl will read to them if they promise not to squash him. Yes, we promise, said Tiny Chick. Please read to us, Baby Owl. Oh, all right, said Baby Owl. Hooray! Cried all the chicks, and they jumped up onto Baby Owl's dad and Tiny Chick's mom. Baby Owl laughed. Then he opened his book and read them all a story. Later, Dad took Baby Owl home and tucked him into his warm, cozy bed. Shall I read the story to you, Baby Owl? Asked Dad, but Baby Owl was already falling asleep. Good night, Baby Owl, whispered Dad. Good night, Dad, mumbled Baby Owl. Good night, Owly. Okay, that was a fun book about reading. Baby Owl wanted to read to his little Owly, and then little Chick came along, and then little Chick's brothers and sisters and cousins and friends and cousins and friends all came along, and they all wanted to hear Baby Owl read. But what happened? They piled on top of him. You couldn't see him. You couldn't see the book. Nobody could read anything until Daddy came along and saved the day. And then they got to read to everybody, and Baby Owl was too tired to even get a story before he went to bed. This was a silly book about reading, but a great book that shows how excited everybody gets when it's time to read. I hope you get as excited as those little chicks when it's time for you to hear a story. Reading is so much fun. Miss Dorothy loves to read to you, and I hope you love to listen. And like Baby Owl says, I'm not reading unless you sit still and quiet. That's a very important lesson. They didn't do it, but you did, I'm sure. And now it's time for all my little chicks to get off to bed. Just like Baby Owl, I need you to get under your covers, get cuddled up, curled up, ready for a really good night's sleep. And tomorrow, when it's time for Miss Dorothy to read to you, remember, I'm not reading unless you sit up and listen up like you always do. And unless you obey, and obey right away. Come back and see Miss Dorothy tomorrow, because I'm going to be sitting right here ready to read another book to you. Bye! Thanks for reading with Miss Dorothy. I hope you enjoyed this book, and I hope you'll come back soon to read another. What's your favorite book? Drop Miss Dorothy a note and let me know. I'll go find it and I'll read it to you. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share. I'll see you soon.